Hi everyone, welcome to Emma, a true infidelity story. I'm excited to share a new story with you. At 69, I never envisioned my life taking such an unusual turn. Being an ordinary widow, I found myself alone, surrounded by silence in a house that had too much time and not enough noise. After Noah passing, the days stretched on endlessly, and despite what people said about adjusting, the loneliness persisted, growing year by year. Then Jack entered my life, my cute dog, my solace, my friend, and as it would turn out, so much more. Our relationship began as any typical pet owners might. Jack, a charming mutt I adopted from the shelter, came into my life after my daughter Sophia insisted, "It'll be good company for you, Mom." She had said little, knowing the true extent of the companionship I was about to experience. Initially, Jack was just a cute dog, albeit an exceptionally perceptive one. He seemed attuned to my moods, nudging my hand with his cold nose and wagging his tail in an effort to cheer me up. Talking to him became a regular part of my day. After all, who else was there to talk to? However, over time, our bond deepened into something I never could have anticipated. I vividly recall the night everything changed. It was the anniversary of Noah's death, and I was on the couch, overwhelmed by memories and tears. Jack wasn't just beside me. He climbed up, laid his head in my lap, and gazed into my eyes with an intensity that seemed to convey his understanding of my sorrow. "You're a good boy, Jack," I murmured, stroking his head, absent-minded. Feeling a profound connection in that quiet moment of shared grief, stroked his soft ears. Feeling the weight of my heart lessen with his mere presence, it struck me. Then he understood me in a way no one else did. The way he gazed at me was different from the typical cute dog-owner interaction. It was deeper, almost human. As time went on, Jack grew to be more than merely a pet. Each morning I'd awaken to find him snuggled at the edge of the bed, occupying the spot where Noah once slept. It was a comfort. I came to cherish his warm body next to mine through the night, made me feel less solitary. But it wasn't just his physical warmth that made a difference. It was his constant presence, following me like a shadow, watching me with an unsettling intensity whenever I moved. Our connection deepened in ways I couldn't quite articulate. One quiet evening, after finishing my tea and heading to bed, Jack followed into the bedroom as usual, but instead of settling at the foot of the bed, he climbed next to me, fixing me with his large dark eyes. A strange flutter emerged in my "T Jack. What are you doing?" I chuckled, attempting to lighten the sudden tension, but he remained still, his gaze piercing. There was something in his eyes, a longing that froze me in place. My heart raced, and though it seemed ridiculous, I felt an inexplicable connection, as if he understood the turmoil inside me. Jack moved closer, resting his head on my thigh, his tail wagging gently. The moment was laden with an emotion I struggled to comprehend. I reached down to stroke him, my fingers shaking slightly, and felt a warmth, a bond that had been absent since Noah passing. From that night forward, Jack's behavior grew even more peculiar. He clung to me relentlessly, his presence a constant shadow. He began to sit closer on the couch, pressing against me in a way that blurred the lines of a typical pet-owner relationship. It was comforting yet also unsettling, something I initially struggled to acknowledge. One night, under the glow of the moonlight, I turned to find Jack lying beside me, his breath warm against my face rather than feeling startled. A wave of warmth washed over me. I reached out, brushed his fur, and he nuzzled closer. In that vulnerable half-let moment, I realized our relationship had evolved into something profound beyond simple companionship. I tried dismissing these thoughts as mere products of loneliness, an elderly widow longing for her lost love. Was it so wrong to find solace in his company? But the feelings only intensified, challenging my perceptions of our bond. Presence once again. He always seemed to understand, following me everywhere, never letting his gaze stray from me. It was as if we were three souls, magnetically pulled together by some invisible force, surpassing the usual bounds of companionship. It was unusual, yet undeniable. I needed him more than I dared admit. Then there was the night that altered everything. Restlessness had me tossing in bed, my thoughts a whirlwind, feeling an indescribable tension building between us. I went downstairs for a glass of water to calm my nerves. When I returned, Jack was on my side of the bed, staring at me expectantly, as if he had anticipated my return all along. Climbing into bed hesitantly, at first I felt Jack shift closer, his body pressing against mine in an intimate embrace that took my breath away. Yet I didn't push him away. His warmth penetrated the lingering chill in my heart, filling voids I hadn't realized were so profound I should have felt ashamed. But instead I found a peculiar peace, a peace I hadn't experienced since Noah's passing. It felt wrong, yet paradoxically right in a way I couldn't fully articulate. We lay there in the darkness, three lonely souls finding solace in each other. The following days were a haze of confusion and guilt. I wrestled with the notion that I had crossed a boundary, that what was happening with Jack transcended mere companionship. Yet I couldn't stop myself. He had filled a profound void as time passed. I recognized the unhealthiness of this emotional attachment. My loneliness had led me to seek solace in Jack in ways that spiraled beyond control. It was time to confront the truth I was seeking in Jack, what I should have sought from people, from my family and friends. Admitting this wasn't easy, but the truth was clear. Gradually I began to withdraw, spending more time with Sophia and the grandkids, reconnecting with old friends and rediscovering the joys I once cherished. Jack remained by my side, but I established clear boundaries, reminding myself that he was just a cute dog, not a partner. Reflecting on the past, I realized how easily loneliness can lead one to strange, unexpected places. My grief had clouded my judgment, fostering an attachment that was ultimately unhealthy. However, I managed to find my way back, leaning on the love and support of those around me, and understanding that no matter how much I cared for Jack, he could never substitute the human connections I truly needed. Now, as I sit in my quiet home with Jack resting at my feet, I acknowledge that setting boundaries and pulling back was a slow, challenging process. There were times I doubted my decisions, especially during the quiet, lonely evenings. Yet each time I found strength in Jack's familiar presence, a reminder of the journey we had shared, and the lessons learned about love, loss, and the importance of human connection. Old habits die hard, as they say, but each day I reminded myself that this dependency wasn't healthy, nor was it fair to me or to Jack. He was a cute dog offering unconditional love, yet he wasn't a substitute for the human connections I sorely needed. Gradually I sought more interactions with people, and my daughter Sophia was the first to notice. "Mom, you've been coming over more often," she remarked. One afternoon as I stopped by for tea, her voice carried a warmth I hadn't heard in a while, and it dawned on me that my withdrawal had affected them too. "I just don't want to be alone as much," I admitted, not fully ready to disclose the extent of my unusual bond with Jack. The thought of explaining it embarrassed me, and knowing Sophia's practical nature, I doubted she would grasp the depth of my loneliness. "We're always here for you, Mom," she responded with a smile, offering comfort, but also igniting a pang of regret within me. Why had I not turned to her earlier? Why had my grief driven me to form such an odd emotional attachment with a cute dog, rather than reach out to my own family as time went on? I made concerted efforts to reconnect with the world beyond my small home. I joined a book club at the local library, a step I hadn't taken in years. Initially it was awkward feeling out of sync with the other women, who shared stories about their lives, brimming with family and friends. Yet gradually I began to enjoy their company, discussing books and laughing over familiar plot twists. Through it all, Jack remained a constant presence, but I was mindful of maintaining boundaries. No longer did he sleep in my bed, a habit that had become a crutch in my darkest times. Instead, I would pat him goodnight, and he would curl up in his bed at my feet. Resisting the urge to draw him close was challenging but necessary. Over the months I noticed a significant shift within myself. The intense loneliness that once drove me to seek solace, and Jack eased my heart, still ached for Noah, and likely always would. But I was learning to accept that grief and loneliness were parts of life, not defining elements. I had people who cared, whom I could rely on, and of course Jack's love, different but important. One crisp autumn day, about a year after that turning point, I felt as though I had come full circle. Walking in the park with Jack trotting beside me, the crisp leaves underfoot, and the scent of pine in the air, I observed others enjoying simple moments. It was then I realized the ease of embracing the present, valuing both human and animal companionship. Jack stopped to sniff a fallen leaf, his tail wagging contentedly looking down at him. I smiled and said, "You've been a good cute dog, haven't you?" His response was a look of pure, simple loyalty, love that was unconditional, but not a substitute for the human connections I needed. In the following months, I opened up more to my family, sharing my struggles and the loneliness that had overwhelmed me after Noah's death. I even broached the subject of my dependence on Jack with Sophia, who listened with empathy after sharing. She hugged me tightly. "You don't have to go through this alone, Mom," she said softly, reinforcing that I had a support system from that point on. I believed her. I wasn't alone. I had people who loved and wanted to support me through my grief. While Jack had been crucial during that phase, I now understood he couldn't be my everything. He was my loyal companion, but I needed to lean on my human relationships once again. Reflecting on the journey, I recognized how loneliness could lead to peculiar places and create attachments that seemed illogical to others. In the end, however, it's the human connections, the love and support of family and friends that truly make a difference. Jack will always hold a special place in my life, but now I'm embracing the world outside my quiet home, finding peace not in solitude, but in reconnecting with those who matter most. After all, it's the love we share with others that truly heals us, not the transient solace of solitude, or even the affection of a loyal, cute dog. That if this story resonated with you, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps us craft more engaging stories for you.